there's so much that we don't know in the franchise that's left to question, and it might be answered by the Phantom Pain, might not be. But the idea of, like, what is Liquid's relationship to Boss? Did Boss raise him like a son, even though he is a clone? In the other games, you really get the impression that Boss really wants nothing to do with Liquid or Snake, because in Peace Walker, there's actually a codec call with Master Miller where he talks about the project where they get cloned, and he actually says something along the lines of, like, I want nothing to do with that. Mm-hmm. And it's hinted that's where Zero, and this is way down the line, so it's not even considered spoilers, Zero and Big Boss, that's where the relationship ended, because Zero was part of that project to clone him. But Liquid really does act as though Boss is a big significant part of his life. Mm-hmm. And that's something that's all left to speculation. And I think that's really one of the cool things about this game, is that you really you're left to wonder about certain things.
Oh, I know what to do.
And one of the things I've always wondered about is that Snake, he is like the lead operative in Foxhound, because that's something they established later in the series, is that the main operative of Foxhound gets the codename Snake. That's why he's Solid Snake. And that's why later on, Big Boss, is Naked Snake, because they're the lead operative on the mission for Foxhound. So the idea that Liquid's name is Liquid Snake means that at some point he was the lead operative for Foxhound. And Snake has been retired for 7 years, and that's what you're doing at Shadow Moses, is that Foxhound has gone AWOL and Liquid is leader, which means that up until now, Liquid has been the main operative in Foxhound. And that's like so much backstory that you really have to wonder about, because up until, like, just playing the game for the first time, Liquid's just some dude with a mullet, a frosted mullet and a trench coat. You don't realize, like, you don't think of him as being this guy with a stealth suit sneaking into bases and doing badass shit like Snake. And that really does add to his character, even though they don't talk about it. Why Liquid hates Snake so much, because Liquid is just as cool as he is. He does all the same things, but he's kind of got like the Luigi complex. Everyone talks about how cool Snake is.
You know what? Luigi's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love Luigi.
You.
Yeah, no, I said he has the complex. I like Luigi. I like Luigi more than Mario.
Awesome.
That's another conversation.
I always wanted to be Luigi.
Luigi is better than Mario.
Snake, this is bulletproof glass. There's no way in. I'll enjoy watching you die.
Such an evil, like, Bond villain.
Yeah.
Wow.
Snake, you've got to get that.
I wonder if Liquid is actually that evil, or if he's kind of putting on this persona of the mega villain, because he feels like he's trying to follow in the boss's footsteps, and that's his idea of what bad guys are like, or bad guys from Bond movies. You know, cartoonish villains. Because even Boss wasn't like that. Big Boss wasn't like that at all. He was very stoic and just kind of like, I'm going to kill you now. That's what's going to happen.
I hope, despite what it seems like, that with Liquid, potentially Eli, who we think is Liquid, being in the Phantom Pain,
possibly,
that we might get a little more fleshed out Liquid story, because, I mean, as Kojima said, that he regrets killing Liquid off so early, and I don't know, I feel like a lot of fans really like Liquid, but we don't get enough Liquid.
Well, same with Gray Fox.
Yeah,
who
same
might
deal
be
there.
in that game. Who might be. I think it would be interesting if the way they portray Liquid, if he's in that game, is if he's not like this. You know, like if it's a persona that he puts on, and that would explain, like, would give more depth to his character. Mm-hmm. That he's not just this cartoonish villain that's very theatrical. Brothers! Which is in a different game, but when we get to that point, I think it would be cool to see him as, like, actually like this troubled, like, twisted kid who puts that personality on because it's forced on him. It really does seem like Liquid, in the whole series, Liquid is one of those characters that really gets the short end of the stick. He pretty much gets fucked over. And it's not really clear...
And that's probably a lot to do with why he's got that sort of chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. And one thing they never really explore, which I think would be really interesting and might be in the future, is why Liquid went this direction and Snake went in the direction he did, when they were pretty much, and this is all subtext in the background, they're pretty much the same person. They did the same things, except for Snake actually killed Big Boss in the first two games, And I think I talked about this in an earlier episode. It's implied that Liquid, he's a Foxhound member, and he's working for Foxhound. He is the one that filled in Snake's shoes when Snake was in retirement. Mm-hmm. So Liquid did all the same things that Snake did. There was no real difference. It's just that at some point, Liquid snapped, and he decided, hey, I'm going to hold the world hostage. And you don't really get to see where that point came, because he's already gone past that point of no return where he's kind of crazy at this point and he's trying to make himself into the next big boss. I know he has a lot of speeches in this game that kind of give you some background, but I mean, they're kind of clunky because we haven't fleshed out the universe yet. And I think that would be really cool if in the Phantom Pain, when that comes out, if we get to see who he is as a kid and we actually understand his story more. Because as far as we know, it might even be that Big Boss had more hands-on time with Eli, if that's Liquid, because we really don't know a whole lot about Big Boss and Snake's relationship, other than the fact that Snake didn't know he was his dad until right before he killed him, which is like a crazy dramatic moment that we never got to see.
But then is he really his dad, or is he really his brother, or is he really just
that's weird
himself?
Yeah.
Well,
he's not a perfect clone.
How do you define that sort of when he's made of the same genetic material? Is it a brother? Is it himself? Is it his dad? Is it...
Metal Gear raises a lot of questions. So, what if Liquid got his theatricality from Ocelot? Because think about the way that Liquid puts his hands on his hips and he does a lot of the hand waving. Mm-hmm. And at this point, he's worked with Ocelot a lot. And even though Ocelot calls him boss, I think you can read a lot of subtext that it's actually Ocelot kind of like in control, and they're kind of role-playing. Mm-hmm. What if Ocelot has actually been like his mentor? And that's where a lot of Snake's, or Liquid's cheesy theatricality comes from, is Ocelot. There's a lot of similarities between their gestures. Like, he even wears a trench coat, like Ocelot. And has long hair. I never thought about that. It's pretty interesting, because that's what, when he starts doing this now in Phantom Pain, that's what Liquid does for the whole game. He always waves. And later on, in 2, when he goes, brothers, he does the hand wave. It's the same hand wave. That would make so much sense, considering Metal Gear 4, considering what he does to himself, and why he would be the person to do that. Man, that's my fan theory. That's my new fan theory, is that Ocelot's actually Liquid's mentor.
It would stand to reason if Big Boss wanted nothing to do with him.
Yeah. And that would give him such an inferiority complex, because Ocelot idolizes Boss. And he's there raising his deadbeat son. And that maybe Liquid wasn't talking about Boss, calling him constantly, saying that he's inferior. What if he's talking about Ocelot? Was constantly calling him inferior. That would make so much more sense. I want to see this. I want to see this come to play.